Hello, and welcome back to Lady Rams Unlocked. I'm Cameron Gibson, back with the legendary Scott Hyland, coach of the Texas Wesleyan women's basketball team. We're here to chat a little bit more about how the opening of their season went. So, Coach, y'all are now 3-1. How does that feel? What do you think they've learned so far?
Well, we've learned a lot, that's for sure. The first couple of weeks, we had our fair share of struggles, even though we did win 3 of the 4. A lot of areas that we've needed to improve, that we've addressed here in this past week that we've had off, and I feel like this week off we've gotten a lot better, and now we're ready to move forward.
What would you say last year's team looked like about this time in comparison to the girls now? I know you like to brag on your teams, so we think that we're special in that moment.
Sure. We last year I thought we were able to take things from year 1 to year 2, and in those areas, we were well advanced. We were ahead of the game. This group, with as many newcomers as we've had, we haven't progressed on some little things. There's what's the best way to put it? There's some fundamental things that aren't as solid as they need to be. The thing that this group has going for them is they're so athletic, they're so talented that they're able to make up for some of their mistakes very quickly as a whole. And then you compound that with the veterans we have back that know how to win, they know how to make certain plays, and fortunately we saw some of that in these first few games that we had some people step up and make some great plays to help us win some games.
For sure. It was exciting to watch. Would you accredit those lacking areas of fundamentals to how young your team is right now?
Yeah, definitely. We have 3 true freshmen, 4 actual freshmen, one's a red shirt, couple of transfers that, again, have had an opportunity to play, but not in our system. And so a lot of times I think it's harder for a transfer to make the transition than a freshman, just because they've been through a high school program, maybe a junior college program, and now trying to learn a third system in 4 years or 3 years can be difficult. And so it has been a bit of a transition. They're probably handling it a lot better than I am. At least they appear to be and show that they are. So, I think that has a lot to do with it. But again, the past week here that we've been off and just had practice, they've made tremendous improvements.
And I've seen those. Watching y'all's games, it's been super exciting. They've honestly surprised me so much. Rita, Jenae, Kennedy, Lena, they've all really surprised me, and how much they've learned your system and been able to incorporate themselves into it. So you started off with Arlington Baptist, a fairly easy win, if I can say that. And then we had a falling short against LSUS.
Yes.
How would you say the team dealt with that, or what were the adjustments y'all made to come back?
Sure. We addressed what looked like the 2 biggest things that jumped right out at you if you looked at the score sheet. Number 1, we shot 0 for 21 from 3, and we had 30 turnovers. And despite those, still late in the third quarter, we're right there. It's a 2-3 possession game, and it wasn't until late in the third that they kind of opened it up. What we talked about afterwards is again, what can we control?
Yeah.
The turnovers that we had, most of them were not because of the defense. They were our mistakes, and a lot of those turnovers led to easy scores for LSU Shreveport. I felt like defensively we were solid. We really played well. We rebounded well. We just gave them too many easy baskets off our turnovers. And then from a shooting standpoint, how could we have gotten better shots?
Yeah.
Ball movement, spacing, things again that we have complete control over it that lead to better shots. And so those are some things that we looked at. I feel we've got a better understanding now of, and starting to see it more and more on a daily basis in practice.
That's good, yeah. And I'd say that I saw those things implemented in the games following with Texarkana and LSUA, being that I was there to watch. I did, comment and say that their ball movement was so much better than what I watched for LSUS, and it was just super exciting to watch. So how did you get them hyped up to play such a gritty game? Both of them are really close and really tough.
We've got such a great group that they work hard and they want to do the right thing. That's just kind of their mindset. And so addressing some things in film, getting a chance to see it on film, what it looked like, and then here's what we're capable of. This is what we want it to look like, and you've done it, the little bit that we have. And so I think those gave them a better picture of what the expectations were and what we wanted. And then just creating some opportunities in practice where we could get them to experience it more and more. And that's where it's been now these past, 7-8 practices that we've had, an opportunity for them to see and experience, those adjustments. Mm-hmm. We've had our good days, we've had our bad days.
And that comes all the time.
Yesterday was a really good day. I'm hoping today's another really good day. Yeah. And it's just one of those things. I likened it to, I mentioned this to Dr. Gerloff at the football game Saturday. Her being a Lions fan, Coach Campbell of the Lions had a great quote, and he was talking about his team, and I likened it to our team in that I feel like I've got this strong, powerful engine, but it's just not operating on full cylinders, right. And it's a tweak here, it's a little tweak there, maybe and you don't know what it's going to do, which one it's going to be, but eventually we're going to figure it out, and right. When we do, look out.
And it looks like y'all figured it out for the most part. I know that when we talked last, you said that LSUS gave you some problems with their defense. And when Texarkana and LSUA both came out, they were very, very aggressive on defense. Now, I don't think they necessarily did a 1-2-2?
The 1-2-2.
I don't think they necessarily did a 1-2-2, but they were on it on defense. And I think the Rams, they did a good job of holding their own and making sure that they were taking care of the ball. Obviously, there were times where, we lost it, but at the end of the day, I think I saw the improvement. Yeah. I saw the improvement.
Texarkana gave us some trouble. Theirs was more in their press. Mm-hmm. The next day against LSUA, we took much better care of the ball. Only had 15 turnovers. Got some great shots, they just didn't fall. Mm-hmm. Got to the free throw line 31 times. Didn't shoot a very good percentage though. And so again, if we shoot our normal percentage from the field, if we shoot our normal percentage from the line, it's a 16 to 20 point game instead of a 5-point one, and causing me all kinds of stress. So you're right. We did. We made some really good improvements. We saw some of those things on Friday and Saturday. I'm looking forward now to this coming week to see how it goes.
And trust, we were all stressed during that Texarkana game, but Jenae Moore, she wasn't. What do you think? What can you say about her so far this season?
She's shooting the ball extremely well. I think she's got the highest three-point percentage on the team right now. I want to say around 33-34%. Okay. The play, design, when they took the lead by 3, we got a timeout, advanced it. I believe we had around 8 seconds to go. Basically, it was just our standard sideline out of bounds play, in which we get the ball to our point guard, run a high ball screen. What we looked for, though, is instead of Jenae going opposite corner, we had her come back to the ball side corner, and then Peyton inbounding had her step in. And so Anaya coming off Sophia's ball screen had option of let's look to throw back to Soph, Peyton, Jenae, and we'll go right down the line. And
Right.
who's got the best look? Well, Nye didn't use Soph's ball screen, so there was really nothing out of that one. Soph tried to screen again, and instead of throwing it to Soph, Anaya just threw it to Peyton. Peyton made a great read. She didn't have a good look, quickly got it over to Jenae. Jenae had a decent look that when she let it fly, I had a perfect look at it, and I did. I thought to myself, oh boy, that's got a chance to go in.
Right. And I'll say,
And it did. And to her credit, she didn't hesitate. To Peyton's credit, she didn't hesitate in recognizing Jenae had the better shot. And so, again, in that situation, make or miss, I'm proud of both of them because they made great plays. Nye made a good decision even, initially. And so we are growing, we are getting better. But yeah, that was a big shot.
no, definitely. I'll say that was overtime, and we were all stressed, all scared. But Jenae did a great job of making that shot. And what do you think it means for players to continue to step up like that in big games like this, either freshmen or upperclassmen?
Sure. I think it just gives them confidence, one, in themselves, and two, in the process of what it is we're trying to do. They're starting to see some of the benefits of our playing style and in the positions that we're putting them in, hopefully to be successful. As they start to have some success, they're going to gain confidence. And again, those are things that we've seen this past week in practice. They're just getting more and more comfortable with the system and with each other, and again, hopefully going to lead to some great things here very shortly.
Awesome. So all the teams that you've played so far have been in the Red River Conference besides Arlington Baptist. What do you think playing in such, I'd say it's a pretty competitive conference like the SAC. What do you think that's going to do going into conference play for your girls?
It's going to really benefit us. One, they're all going to be very strong teams. I was actually on a phone call last night with our conference raider, Becky, over at College of the Ozarks, and I told her, I said, those are going to be two big wins for us because both those teams coming back after Christmas are going to be very strong.
Yeah.
LSU Shreveport is going to be a very strong team, throughout the year. The two teams we have coming up, I think Our Lady of the Lake is, again, playing on the road at their place is going to be a battle. Texas A&M San Antonio is going to be a very strong team, potential national tournament team by the end of the year. So it's going to help our strength of schedule. It's going to help our RPI down the road. I think also, though, just the experience and what we had to go through to win these last two in particular, having to come from behind in both, are going to be great things for us to be able to draw to, in those times coming up, which unfortunately will happen. We're going to have to come from behind and get some wins.
Yeah.
But we can draw from those experiences, and the girls know that, hey, we've done it before, we can do it again.
And that's what I was going to say is so important, is I know being on the team, we have struggled sometimes in coming from behind like that and finishing out games, but I think that the ladies now did such a great job of finishing out those games, regardless of, even if they had the lead for a while and then they started fighting back real close at the end, regardless, they made sure to get that win out. So what is the messaging that you're teaching these girls to be so resilient, and that you think is going to last throughout the season?
Just as I mentioned before, believe in each other, believe in the process.
Yeah.
We do it every day in practice. Nothing changes, on game day other than who we're doing it against. And if I tell my staff all the time, I said, when have you ever heard me say so many good things about a team before January, February? But I have. I've again, being we're so young, I felt like I've had to kind of boost them up and build them up a lot earlier. And I think we're seeing some of the benefits of that. And maybe something I got to do more of. But they're growing up so fast. And so many of them are, the newcomers have stepped their game up and have really provided, some strong support. for a lot of the newcomers, again, that have really stepped up and had a strong early part of the year, and Cam and Soph and Peyton and whatnot. So can't wait to get back on the court and have another good day.
Well, I'm super excited to see the rest of the season. Trust I'll be front row and center with the headset on. But it was great talking to you. I hope that today's practice goes well. And
that's the goal.
Lady Rams get the win this weekend. Thank you guys so much for watching. Coach, you want to say anything else?
No, just that's the goal. Let's have a good practice today and get ready for this weekend.
Thank you all so much for watching this episode of Lady Rams Unlocked. Thank you, Coach, for being with me today.
Thank you.
Girls, you better have a good practice today. See y'all next time.